that early. Okay, it
So
says we're live.
it says we live.
We're live.
It's alive.
What's up?
Everybody gets to watch me act like an idiot because I am super tired right now. I am running on a.
This has been a one long. Well, this is Tuesday, so I can't even say it's a long weekend.
I was wondering why my video hasn't come out yet. I'm like, what is my? Oh yeah, it's only Tuesday. Duh.
Oh man, everything just got shot completely up on me this weekend. That's for sure. But it's all right. It'll work out.
Long as we can still drag our tired butts to the computer and phone to make this madness happen, that is all that matters. It's going to be a race to see who passes out first on camera.
This week's stream is brought to you by Burger King. The only thing keeping me awake. Let's see, we got Lucky 13. How you doing? We've got Kat. Hello, Kat. How you doing? We have King Random in the house.
It's a party.
And of course, we've got Calvin Witt.
The very sleep deprived, running on like 3 hours of sleep and being at school for 13 hours today, Calvin. Arf.
Curtis saying, flame broiled. I got chicken nuggets tonight. That was what I got on the way home.
I grabbed some avocado roll sushi and some what was the other thing? Some like Jamaican bean, rice, and plantain thing for dinner. It's pretty good actually. I only had like half of that and I just devoured the sushi because I knew it wasn't gonna be any good tomorrow. Like, okay, we're done. Let's go stream.
The sushi.
I've tried the real stuff with real raw fish in it, and I just cannot get over the texture.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that I have anything against it, but I tried it and it wasn't my thing, and I'm like, whoa, holy crap, we got a bunch of people in chat. We got Chris, we got Print 3D channel, we got PJ. Man, it is popping tonight.
Man, sweet.
Everybody must have wanted to see me in my delirious, sleep-deprived state going, oh, yeah, this is really cool.
Just to give you guys a recap, Calvin started school, this week?
I started school this Monday. So to give you guys an idea how that went, I had a, around 12 in the morning, 12 morning, afternoon, I don't care what you want to call it, art class that I ended up dropping. So on Mondays, I only have an accounting class at night, which is nice. Problem is Tuesdays, I'm gone the whole day at school from about 9 a.m. to about 9 p.m. for 3 classes throughout the day. Then Wednesdays, I just have accounting again. And then Thursday, I have 2 classes. And then Friday, I got nothing, which is awesome. So this is the first, like day or two back, and between being super stressed out, causing me not to sleep, and just being super stressed out, I am like already burnt out on day 2. But at least I get some time to recover tomorrow, so that's nice. Although I do have to go out and buy overpriced art supplies before Thursday, but oh well, gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, that's what's up with me. Although I will say that on Tuesdays, I'm going to be hauling my laptop with me to school because I have like a 4-hour time gap between classes. So I'm thinking that time works good for maybe filming the design videos or doing some editing, or depending upon how good the internet is over at school, if it'll let me do it, maybe even tackling uploads, because I don't care if they throttle my upload speed to like 5 megabits a second. It's still faster than when I got home.
That's true.
I've
had a long weekend too. It's my mom's health, of course, has just been like a roller coaster. But I'll tell you what, I never dreamed in a million years how much a nausea patch behind the ear can do to a person. We thought we were going to lose her on Sunday, And then she just started going just completely wild. And it's like, what in the world? This isn't, something's not right. So it even freaked out the staff there at the uh, rehabilitation center, to where they're like, let's send her to the emergency room. Something's not right. Send her over there, and they called it a scopolamine patch, I think was the name. And it's for nausea, and they stick it behind the ear. The doctor at the emergency room walks in, looks at it, says, somebody pull the patch off and wipe it down with some alcohol wipes, and let's see what happens in about 2 hours. 2 hours later, she evened out. Apparently, it can drive some people just bonkers. And so they took it off, and everything was good. Yesterday she was doing really good. This morning she starts yelling and carrying on. So my brother goes and he calls me up and he's like, hey, something's bad wrong. She's yelling at the nurses and everything else. I said, look behind her ear. Sure enough, somebody stuck another one behind her ear.
Oh gosh.
This was after Beth having her surgery yesterday. So she had her gallbladder removed, which went great. But last night she ran a little bit of a fever, so they wanted to keep her tonight. So with any luck, she'll be able to come home tomorrow. Just never ending.
Never ending. All right, before I pass out on everybody, do we want to jump into the topic of tonight's show? And then when we're done, we can go back to our usual updating the world about our random life problems. No offense, Jimmy.
Oh, what was our deal tonight? I forget.
It's the title. It's What Made Us Makers.
What made us makers? So, Calvin, what's your story?
Oh, geez. Disclaimer, I did not grow up in a cult. So if anybody thinks I did, I didn't. Because you're all going to think it by the time I get halfway through. I told Jimmy about it. He's like, dude, seriously, you sure you didn't like grow up in a cult or something? That totally sounds like a cult to me.
Oh, man.
No,
okay, tell us all about it. I got to hear this one.
Oh, this is going to be good. Okay, so pretty much for me, growing up, childhood was interesting because my parents pretty much raised me on a strict diet of no children's shows, but I was allowed to watch the crap out of like educational shows like science videos, nature documentaries, Modern Marvels, Secret Life of Machines, all kinds of just shows that used to be really good before the networks totally dumbed them down and made them horrid. And the funny thing is, at the church that my parents went to and still go to, they thought that they were the conservative people because they had cable, but yet I wasn't allowed to watch any kids programs like Disney Channel or Barney or Elmo or whatever else. I don't even know that stuff out there to this day, to be honest. I wasn't allowed to watch that stuff, but yet I was allowed to watch like adult documentary shows. And yet everybody who didn't have cable let their kids watch all the little kiddie stuff. So my parents, like, I don't know what they were thinking, but it made things interesting for me. And as time went on, I could definitely tell that I wasn't the kind of person that liked sports. I was very good at doing everything what you were supposed to do in the game. I just didn't understand why people thought it was enjoyable. I mean, now that I've gotten older, there's certain things I like to do, but even to this day, I'm still kind of like sports. Okay, if that's your thing, that's cool. Not really my thing. End of story. But on the other hand, the other thing with me was my parents would go to yard sales a lot and they would get literally like, Jimmy's moving off to college and he can't bring his big old box of Legos with him. So mom and dad are selling it off to recoup a little bit of the money of like the thousands of dollars in Legos that they've got. So they sell it to you for like $20 and make nothing off of it. So my parents would get that and they'd dump it into a box and just rinse and repeat. And literally I'd have like this literal like 3x5 by maybe 6-inch deep tub full of Legos. So I just sit there and build whatever the heck I wanted with it, which is cool because it gave me total artistic freedom to do whatever I wanted with that. And the other thing was from a really early age, my parents had me in science fairs, which was cool because I was homeschooled. literally, as time went on, like later on, it would literally take 3 to 6 months to do a single science fair project. I'll get why on that in a little bit. But that was sort of growing up, and it definitely didn't help my social status at all. But then again, I was ridiculously socially awkward back in the day, and I still kind of am, despite what people seem to think of me. So, in my case, it was like my parents figured out what I was good at, and then they kind of just let me do that. But as I got older, science fairs literally became like a part of life. It was pretty much, I'd go to some science museum on vacation with my parents, and it'd be like, oh, that looks cool. Let's make a science fair project out of that. Or I'd watch a TV show like Junkyard Wars or something and be like, oh, they built fire pumps. Yeah, that looks cool. Let's build a fire pump. Let's build a water pump. Or they built a hovercraft. Let's build a hovercraft. Or they built an underwater robot. Let's build an underwater robot. All three of those were science fair projects that I had done, I believe in order. I think it went pump. Yeah, it went pump because I wasn't able to go to state with pump. Then I did hovercraft, and that didn't really get me anywhere. And then I did ROV, which nabbed me a whole bunch of stuff. But that's pretty much how I got into making. And then as I got older, I was in college for a while to get a degree in engineering, and it wasn't working. So my mom told me about a machine shop program that got me into that, and I got really excited. I went back to school and took like 50 gazillion CAD classes, which is how I know how to do the design work that I do and that sort of stuff. So that's kind of in a nutshell how I landed where I am. Well, the ironic part is to this day, I still don't know like three-quarters of the kid shows that are out there. People are like, oh, have you like ever done this video game? I'm like, no, no, unless it was like SimCopter or Microsoft Train Simulator made by like Atari, I wouldn't know. So that's pretty much the crazy story of how I got to where I am, you could say, as a maker in like a compressed nutshell, if that makes sense.
I was expecting a lot more of, you know, I don't know, cult like stuff.
Oh, don't worry, don't worry. I must have scared so many parents because story goes, this is going to be a really good one. A story goes when I was like little, I guess I was watching Cops with my parents and I'd catch on to things. So story goes in nursery one day, I sang the Bad Boys song from Cops, totally PO'd the person who was in charge, and my parents were all smug about it. And my mom to see like, I don't get why they had such a big deal about you singing the Cop song. I mean, if you sang the Barney song or VeggieTales, they wouldn't have cared. And I'm like, just get over it. That was like 20 years ago.
Well, my story is not quite as interesting as yours.
Hey, I've never heard it, so it's going to be interesting regardless. I was born a maker, and that's my story.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Jimmy, and I'm a maker.
Hi, my name is C-Dub, and I'm totally addicted to my alternate reality of myself. He thinks he's like this million subscriber YouTuber, but really he's got only like barely 695 subscribers. But I keep acting like I'm C-Dub and I'm driving myself broke because of it, but it's so awesome.
That's funny, man.
All of what I've said is completely false as well, except for the subscriber count. I'm really not addicted to C-Dub. That was just done because I know Jimmy just loves C-Dub.
I get a kick out of it.
I do too. I will admit the whole thing with C-Dub is it's not like I'm trying to make myself seem better than anybody else. It's purely a comedy character that kind of started out as an old joke at my old job and then kind of died off and came back again. But it's like my whole thing is I don't want my alternate personality to be like some jerk or thinks he's better than anybody. It's more of just like a comedy version of myself that people seem to find hilarious. So whenever I can, I try and do like dorky C-Dub videos. I was going to shoot some footage of like first day back at school for the first day of it, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait, and then I'll probably shoot something, but it would be fun. We'll see.
Curtis says hashtag broke C-Dub.
Hashtag donate to C Dub. Hashtag, no, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so here's my story. Both my parents were Pentecostal preachers. So they weren't the Pentecostal preachers like some of them are, oh, you can't watch TV. No, we watch TV. I watch all the children's shows, Tom and Jerry, Bugs Bunny, all that stuff. I watched all of it. But what I remember is I spent a lot of time from the time I could walk. I was always following my dad around, always going to the shop and stuff like that. In fact, when I was in diapers, there's a picture. I'll see if I can find that picture eventually. I'll post it sometime. One of the first toys I remember playing with was my dad brought home this, I think it was either a 3 or a 5 horsepower Briggs and Stratton engine. And I'd spent hours on the front porch cranking that thing, trying to get it to start. Oh man, I would play with that thing for hours, trying to get that thing to run. And I remember that, and I remember the very first time that whenever my dad, they decided I was big enough where I could get my own bed, he took and he built my bed. He built the headboard, built the footboard, and did the rails and all that. He got a piece of that sponge rubber that like they use for upholstery, and then they covered it and everything. And that was my mattress, and that was my bed, And so I remember when I went to school, right in kindergarten, right off the bat, everybody's like, you need speech therapy. So they'd send me out to this pink trailer out in the back of the schoolyard. And you go in there, and Miss Jennings was her name. And you go in there and, okay, now how do you say the CH? And you had to do all that garbage, right? The thing is, they did this without my parents knowing anything about it. And until finally I ended up telling them that I was going to speech class. And then all of a sudden that they took care of that. But anyway, I go in there, and she asked me, so how do you make your bed? I said, with a hammer and nails. Oh my goodness. You would think that I just rolled a grenade in the door or something. Cause this guy was like, what did you say? I'm like, my bed was made with hammer and nails. Are you trying to joke with me? I'm like, no, ma'am, I'm not. Because that's what my dad did. I watched him do it. I was out there helping him. I was handing him nails, And that was when if I remember it, that's when she called my mom, was like, I have a problem with the way your son is. He said this, and he says that when you go to mail a letter, that's posting it. And she said, because that's what I call it. I'm going to post a letter, right? That's how some people talked at that time. And this gal just flipped out. She's like, this is unacceptable. And my mom says, no, what's unacceptable is the fact that he's in your class. So didn't have to go back there no more.
That's the ultimate, but right there on your mom's part.
Oh man. But from the very beginning, I would always follow my dad out to the shop, and he was always making things. He was always, either adding on to the shop or fixing something up. Like he'd take a pegboard and hang it up and put those pegs on it so you can hang your hammers and that kind of stuff on it. And we had a tractor. He'd always go out and work on it. And of course, the sandblasting business kind of came later in time. That wasn't until 1980 when that came up. But back at that time, he still worked for Farmers Mercantile, and he'd come home after 5 o'clock at night, and that's when I'd get to see him. I'd go down there. My mom would take me down there, and he always sandblasted and painted equipment for that company. And at his lunch hour, we'd go down there and meet up with him, and I'd always get to play on the equipment. Fiddle. I remember at 8 years old, my next door neighbor, Mr. Kameny, he built this concrete fence between down the driveway there. And what he'd do is he'd pour the panels like in, I think there were 8 or 12 foot sections. He'd pour the panels of the concrete, but he made it so that they could be raised up with a forklift because we had a forklift. And in fact, I went out there and I was the one that ran the forklift. I had taken help him. He trusted me to do it, and we'd taken do that, for a couple hours, and I'd help him get it set up. This was before the child labor laws, and all that.
Back in the good old days, I mean, I will admit that I'm going to plead the fifth on this one, but I may or may not have steered my dad's. Oh, geez, which vehicle was it? He's had so many of old vehicles. I think it might have been his. No, it would have been the Plymouth. It would have been the Datsun. One of his older cars that he had before he sold it off years ago. On that magical place called eBay, where he also acquires stuff from. But it was funny because we were pulling into Osh to get, I don't know what, like cow poop or something like that for the front lawn grass that just never grows to this day. I think I got to like steer the car at like 6 years old, sitting on his lap or something fun like that. And thought I was like the coolest kid in the world because I literally like drove the car in a straight line while he did the gas and brake as it crawled along at like 3 miles an hour.
That's the most
No, I
exciting
know.
thing when you're a kid is when your parents put you on their lap and let you steer the car.
I will say though, at about 14, when I was helping my dad out in his TV class, I was running a scissor lift, moving around very expensive filming lights inside of a television studio at the college, and also having to navigate around people and expensive cameras and crap. And knock on wood, I didn't knock anything over, but the irony was there'd be people in like their 20s and 30s who wouldn't even touch the thing. I'm just all like suckers.
That's one thing I remember too. Is I think it was about 8 years old when that happened. My dad, he that at that time he had started the business and had was building it up. I forget what year that was for sure, but he'd bought this Ford 3-ton or a 1-ton pickup that was a flatbed and it had an air compressor that he towed behind it. And I remember we got up to the gate, and normally I'd get out and open the gate, and he told me, he says, "I'm going to go open up the gate. I want you to go ahead and drive the truck back." What? I actually did. I drove it back and parked it. He thought I was just going to drive through the gate and stop. I went ahead and pulled it and parked it.
Might as well.
Boy, you do that anymore. Oh my goodness. Woo.
Oh man, CPS would be crawling all over you.
Oh yeah, they would. But yeah, I mean, it's just, it was, my parents were they were all, everything was do it yourself. I don't remember my dad paying anybody to do anything. Once in a very great while, there'd be something come up, but for the most part, everything, need to work on the septic tank, do it. You need to work on a car engine or rebuild an engine or something like that. He always did it. And then with my next door neighbor, George, he actually builds engines. And I remember one time even went over there and was helping him build engines. I was maybe about 13 years old at the time. But just where I grew up, right here is everybody did their own thing that way. And so you could learn all kinds of stuff. And it was just a welcoming environment when it came to getting into building stuff.
No, that is seriously awesome. It's like my dad's definitely more of the ingenious type. I mean, if you guys haven't been able to tell from helping my sister build a tiny house when my parents bought the house that I grew up in, pretty much what they did is they tore the thing down to the foundation and rebuilt it from scratch. When they needed to, they hired out people to help with stuff. But for the most part, they tried to do it all themselves. So my parents, my dad especially, has more of like that, DIY dude background, sometimes to a fault, I think. But, everybody's different. Sometimes, I guess, my attitude sometimes is nowadays that it's so much easier to get somebody to do that work for you and all that stuff. It's a little bit like, well, maybe I should, hire it out. But it's cool though that, both of us learned so much from our parents and what they knew how to do, because we both didn't have, I mean, me included, didn't have YouTube. I mean, my version of YouTube was watching Junkyard Wars or the buttload doing that, watching, you know, my dad work on stuff and things like that, doing science fair projects. And sometimes I wonder, it would be interesting in the future if I ever got the sponsorship opportunity to do it, to go back and revisit or rebuild some of my old science fair projects, but then see if there was a way to get like other people that I know involved, make it almost like a community thing to try and, help people learn new skills while doing something. Like, how it's going to go together, but you get other people in there to help you build it for the sake of learning. Because that's the big thing that I think that I like about your channel, and kind of what I try and do on mine is, even if somebody doesn't know exactly how to do something, at least if they learned something by watching it, that's the big thing. Because that little bit of, oh, hey, that's cool, might lead them, even if they never pick up a brazing torch in their life, at least if, they know somebody who does welding, they can at least sound halfway intelligent or ask some decent questions and get a good conversation going.
Right.
It's kind of like what my environmental science teacher said today. She goes, never underestimate the direction that an intelligent conversation can lead to. You
Right.
mentioned something, and then somebody's like, "Oh, I know the solution to this," or "I know this." That sort of thing. You never know where things are going to lead to.
Right.
Especially even if you don't know a ton about something, at least you can kind of like steer somebody in the direction of it. Or just learn something new for the heck of it. I don't expect everybody to go out and buy an oxyacetylene torch set or anything like that. I don't expect everybody to run out and buy a 3D printer, but it's kind of like it. Even if you don't know how to do a whole lot, if you and your kid buy a plastic model kit for $10 at the hobby store, maybe
Yeah.
you totally bomb putting the thing together and you bomb painting it. But as long as you both learned something and enjoyed it, and then you go back and decide to do it again and you get better, it kind of, you learn by your mistakes and going along, and you kind of figure out what you're good at and what you're not. And sometimes you gotta, just try, as long as it's nothing life threatening.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
That's the thing is, it's kind of like with the rise of, AliExpress and Banggood. I've actually thought about going on there and seeing if I can find like under $10 plastic kits that are actually kind of cool. It might not be the easiest to put together, but it's kind of like the finished product is like, whoa, that'd be kind of cool to see that being done.
Yeah. That would be. So, how about you in the chat? Is there anybody that'd like to tell a story?
We need some good stuff.
I saw Tess in there earlier.
I think she's probably chasing the kid around the backyard. He's probably chasing drop bears or something like that. Or he's trying to run off to Angus's place or who knows what. Everybody's plotting what they're going to do with my dad's Datsun. He's going to love that. I'm still surprised, and I'm not going to say what it is, but I'm surprised nobody has recognized the car in the garage shots when I was shooting with Ashley and Danielle for our respective videos. I'm surprised nobody's recognized that yet. ...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't even pay attention. I'll have to go back and look.
There's a car in there. It might or might not be able to be seen because of the lighting. If you guys can't see it, then my bad. I'm so used to seeing it in there.
Oh, that's one thing too. Whenever I was younger, my dad went and bought these two air compressors because he got a really good deal on them, and then we soon found out why. But they were two Ingersoll Rand air compressors. They're 185 CFM compressors. They had the 3-cylinder Deutz diesels in them. Oh my God. That was 7 years of my life I wished I could get back. I kid you not. Every weekend for 7 years, we would take one air compressor off the truck and we would spend nearly a month having to rebuild the engine because these engines they say, oh, they're meant for running a long time and all that. They would last 1 month, and then we'd have to switch out, put the other air compressor up, and then go through and completely rebuild the stinking engine because they were built like a motorcycle engine. They were air cooled. So I mean, they just did not hold up, especially when it comes to that kind of to sandblasting.
Wow. I mean, if you added a fan, would it have helped or not?
Actually,
Not
it had
really.
a fan. It had a turbo fan on it that actually would force air through the cylinders. I even had like an oil cooler up inside there that it forced air all through that. But no matter what we did, we tried everything we could, and man, those things just want to wear out. And you have to replace the piston, the cylinder, the rings, a lot of times even the heads because they would get
Oh,
fried somehow. It just was never ending. As every month it was like, here's $1,000 parts, 5% surcharge for parts coming from Germany.
ouch. Oh man, that sucks.
Trying to see if anybody's got anything going in the chat there. How you doing, Sparky? Sparky.
This chat is getting hilariously funny, actually.
I'm gonna pay attention to it. Let's see here.
Let's see. We're still shopping the Datsun. We're now talking about the Beverly Hillbillies, and Sparky's complaining about dresses, and I'm talking about, geez, that reminds me of childhood.
Oh, whoa, wait a minute. I gotta hear this one.
Is this about as good as my is? Oh, so Jimmy, how do you make your bed with a hammer and nails? That one would actually be a really hilarious inside joke to use in the video. So, Jimmy, are we going to build your bed using hammer and nails?
PJ says they last forever because nothing's original. That's exactly right, too. Sparky, Chris says dresses suck. Chris crickets.
And I have to chime in that I'm part Irish, so that's what I'm told. So
I may have a wee bit of Irish myself.
Yeah, geez.
Just a wee bit.
You just did not say that, Chris. No, I didn't mean it like that.
What's that?
It's so bad. It's so bad. He goes, Kristen comments, I don't know, not sure I can handle C-dub and drag. I'm like, dude, when I said I'm part Irish, I meant a kill. I didn't mean that I'm going to go down to Castro and be like, what's that, people? I'm C-dub. No, I'd just be creepy.
Hi, guys.
Thank God this is a late night show and hopefully no kids are watching this. Embarrassing. Anything that gets said from this point on, I'm pleading the fifth on because it's, I'm definitely in sleep deprivation land.
Your mom's going to come in and she's going to say, Calvin, we need to have a talk.
She's still down south, thank God.
Sparky Face 5 says her granddad was a fitter and a turner. And apparently she takes after him. That's cool.
That's really cool. My dad was a television instructor in college. I just produced videos using knowledge learned from that. So no, I don't take after him in that department. It is actually cool when, kids carry on the legacy of their parents, be it like a lineman or a railroad employee or something like that. It's actually kind of cool if they can kind of keep that family tradition going if it's something they're into. Or maybe it's just the nepotism that they like.
Kat says she'd rather hang out with the boys and climb trees than playing with dolls with the girls when she was younger. That's cool.
I'm definitely getting the vibe, and not that it's a bad thing by any means. I definitely get the vibe that the maker type of people liked hanging out with the guys strictly because they were doing all the cool stuff. They were building stuff, doing crazy things, and you know, nothing against the people who enjoy doing dollhouses and stuff. That's totally cool. But I can understand why somebody would be like, screw that. I want to hang out with the dudes. They're actually doing fun stuff, stuff that I find interesting. But everybody's different,
Yeah.
and that's totally cool. I think that's kind of the beauty of it. I mean, my take is, if you want to do something, just be ready to handle a little bit of ridicule and prove yourself. But after that point, people tend to actually be more accepting of you. You know.
That's one thing I was really fortunate too, is to have my Mr. Camney as a role model as well, because he was actually more like a grandfather to me than a lot of my own family was. And I don't even remember how old I was. I was pretty young at the time. He taught me how to use a lathe. Here he was pushing 100 years old at the time.
Oh,
You know,
geez.
yeah, I mean, he lived to be what, 102, almost 103 if I remember right. And fiddle, he'd get out there on the roof, walk around on the roof with his hands in his pockets, reach over, move things, and out there, if he needed to do something, he'd done it. Over 100 years old, and he's up on a roof. It's like, man, I wish I could do that if I get that old.
In my case, I can either see two outcomes for myself. One is my crappy joints are going to give out at like 30. I'm going to be some dude in a wheelchair going, "Hey everybody, I'm going to teach you how to do this thing using a remote dexterous arm things that I got off an old nuclear power plant." Or I'm going to like go out at like 40 in some really epic industrial accident in my factory. And either way, it's going to be great. I'm just going to be like, "Well, at least I left Earth in a really cool manner." Oh,
Let's look
Tesla,
it up.
you'll enjoy this. In my art class that I'm sticking in, it's a basic drawing class. The instructor said that if somebody can fill up 2 sketchbooks, which is about 60 pages of paper, with their own drawings and class drawings for the end of the semester, 100 automatic points, and everybody's sitting there like 100 extra bonus points, and everybody's like, "What the heck?" And I'm like, excuse me, how many pages counts for that?" Think to myself, "Careful what you wish for, teacher." Doing myself. Believe me, I would absolutely love to be doing the 30 days of design challenge still. And I'm definitely glad that I've kind of carried that over with the weekly speed design videos that I'm releasing on Wednesdays. I mean, I'd love to still be doing 30 days of design, but I'm actually kind of glad I cut it when I did, just because I'm so burnt right now from school. I'm just like, you know, you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, definitely do.
But I mean, I'm doing the other thing for me is I still do a lot of design work on the side for people. But the problem is usually I come up with a very basic design, then I stop, get approval that they like it, refine it some, get their approval, refine it more. And, I can film things like that, but then it becomes like me having to remember to like film every single time. Then, oh, was that like 1 minute of filming? It's like, unless I'm going to be able to sit down there for like an hour and design something completely from scratch or modify the heck out of it, a lot of the stuff that I design just kind of like never makes it to video. But that's fine. It's not that I don't do it. And I'm also working on setting up. I'm gonna have a link to it eventually. A link to a little drive folder where you can view all of my favorite design renderings for people who are interested in looking at that stuff. And it'll get updated as projects go along. Some of the stuff's purely just done for the heck of it. Some stuff is stuff that's actually useful. That kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Just kind of looking through the chat there a little bit, see if anybody else had a story they wanted to share.
The Guinness pop in.
Sure enough, he did. Let me refresh my chat here. Something's not. There we go. Yeah, there he is.
Tessa made a good point. She goes, make it a small daily goal. It quickly compounds and becomes difficult. Yeah, I guess for me, the main thing is being that I get stressed out really easily over at school. I pretty much just go like mentally blank after a certain point in the day. And pretty much I just become this robot sitting there listening to the instructor and taking notes. And I go home and I crash and repeat the process. So I'm hoping with this semester, now that things are a lot more spaced out, I mean, I still have Tuesdays, which are crazy, but at least I have some time gaps so I can go and design things and screw around or just go for a drive if I need to. I went and picked up my mail while I was at it because my mailbox was like 15 minutes away. I'm like, oh, package came in the other day. Oh, I'll go out and get it. So I can get out a little bit, but I'm trying to not burn myself out on the stuff that I enjoy doing early on because that would suck. But yeah, the thing is, anytime I try and do something on camera, and a lot of you YouTubers can attest to it as well, it takes 10 times as long, and I'm not including the editing. It's all the setup work to shoot the 3 minutes of video. You can go, editing is completely different that you can just do in your spare time, but it's like actually trying to make everything, work and then set the lights up. It's like now that I have my little light stand that I'm using right now, that thing is amazing. I can just leave my light sitting there. I can just turn it on, turn my phone on and go. But it's mostly it's just setting up to film something that's time consuming. And even with the design stuff, it's kind of like for me, I'm going to set up to do it. I want to try and do it all in one shot, so it's not like 50,000 little snippets I got to try and put together or something like that. But that's just me.
Yeah.
No, I am not a perfectionist. Geez, I'm like the exact opposite. I'm a realist. My dad, though, can be a bit of a perfectionist.
Yes, he is. He is a perfectionist.
Shut up. I'm kidding. Okay, there are certain things that actually have to be done pretty precisely, like some little rail car flats that little rail car chassis that I'm working on. Those have to be precise because the aftermarket axle assembly has to fit in there, and I might do a video about them in the future. Certain things I do that require third-party components. Those do need to be done precisely. Generally, a lot of what I do is just, I like this and go from there. But that's just me, whatever. Rain's over. I'm tired. That's my excuse.
Good and well, you're going to go back and you'll look at the stream. You're going to be like, why wasn't my clock straight?
Well, I mean, it looks totally straight to me. All that perspective, Jimmy.
Well, should I go ahead and show who won the competition?
Yeah, so that way I can figure out whose logo I might or might not be able to cut. Please tell me it was Chris's because that thing is easy as heck to cut.
Let's see here. How come it's not showing me my windows? Let's see here.
While you're doing that, I'm going to catch up on chat as always and see how much everybody's been roasting me.
Okay. Still trying to figure out how to get the stupid window to come up. Oh, here we go. Okay, you ready?
Sure.
Here it comes. Drum roll, please. And with 18 votes, it was Chris.
Oh, thank God. Now that thing's going to be easy to cut.
Second place was Tessa. It was 12 votes. Avery came in at 8 votes, followed by my friend Calvin at 2 votes. Ouch. Richard with 2 votes. Richard with 1 vote.
Oh, that is painful.
He's like, ow, this hurts. It burns.
I'm done later. Bye.
So let's remember who won and what here. Let's see. Since I can't figure out how to share this on we tried doing this earlier. I was not able to share this on the computer for some reason. But here is the one that won. Get it just right here. Coming to a shirt soon.
And no,
Congratulations, Chris.
And no, I'm really not a sore loser. I was just playing around. Congratulations, Chris. That was seriously a great design. Everybody else who entered, awesome designs. I was just messing around with you guys. Don't worry.
Let's see if I can find the one that's a kind of a in between one.
That one's sweet.
This was a collab between Chris and Tessa. Pretty cool, huh?
Pretty darn cool. That one is not machinable though. Hey Chris, probably buried way back in chat. If you can send me the link again for the link for the Fusion 360 file for your coin, I'll work on starting to program that thing up, and hopefully the next month or so I'll have enough time. Programming is going to be pretty easy. It's just setting the machine up to cut it out and get that going, because I'd love to make, I mean, probably it'd be in brass or copper, but I'd love to make up one of those, make up that logo in a coin for both you, Jimmy, and for Chris, so Jimmy can wear it around his neck like me and he can be a mini C-dub. No, Jimmy, it's not going to be that big. My mill can't go that big. I don't have copper or brass that big either. But it's something cool to have, and it's also a good opportunity to show some machining processes and all that cool stuff as well, which I figured somebody would find it interesting, and if anything, it just looks darn cool. So
Curtis says it's rigged.
It was rigged by me so I wouldn't win, because that looked really bad. I use like every device, like every computer I had, like old ones that I have, turned them on, voted for Chris. That's what I did, because I wanted to make sure it was machinable.
Oh man, that's awesome. Thank you very much, Chris, and I'll be talking to you here pretty quick. We'll get you all set up for the grand prize.
What is Chris winning? That's the real question.
He's winning $50.
All right.
He gets his choice of Amazon gift card, or if he wants a PayPal distribution, one way or another, he's getting $50.
Sweet. You know what I was thinking would actually be kind of cool is if, just for fun and also to kind of, oh geez, you guys in the Datsun.
And the Datsun.
Since when were you getting the Datsun? Jeez, everybody has like this obsession with it now. Oh, the Datsun.
You have a Datsun?
My dad does.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. Amongst all the other cars, he has a little Datsun 510 that smells to the high heavens, makes lots of noise, and goes like 5 miles an hour down the street. It's great.
You know what?
That's why when I showed up,
Datsuns are like Honda Civics. They will last forever.
Oh yeah. That thing is awesome though. Don't get me wrong. It's a cool car. It's just it never gets driven. I think it's it's probably got like collector car insurance, which like barely covers you for like anything, but it's insured. I don't even think it's registered. It's probably on non-op status at this point, but it's pretty cool. Lots of memories. He got it from a friend of his, which is cool.
Ripcord says the Datsun was the first car he drove. Learned stick on it.
There's like so many versions of Datsuns, like little cars, little trucks, they're like Unimogs.
I got a Datsun forklift.
See? Okay, I will admit, if you ever are crazy enough to let me try driving a forklift, I would love to try driving your forklift.
They're fun.
I promise I'll try not to do a Michael Scott on The Office when he's driving the forklift and he crashes it into like all the office stuff and it like dominoes one on top of the other. And you're just like, oh man, everybody hates him now.
Oh man. Well, Calvin, are you getting pretty tired?
I'm getting pretty tired. I should probably go to bed before I say anything more that's any more stupid crap.
I can tell you're beat. I know I am. I know you are as well, man.
I both of us. I think we're both running on like I'm probably gonna go brush my teeth and like walk within 3 feet of my bed and just collapse.
I've got about another 30 minutes. I gotta feed the dogs. I gotta feed the cats.
Oh jeez.
What else do I gotta do? Oh, I might as well go ahead and take a shower tonight and get ready for tomorrow. Shifted my work schedule around again so I could be up there with Beth in the morning. So
I give you props for doing what you're doing, man. It's not easy.
it's getting tiring, I tell you.
I hear you. Hey, not that my situation is anything like yours, but spending over about 4.5 years juggling work, school, and caregiver, not easy.
No, not at all.
And my situation's not as crazy as yours is, but I know in the future it's going to get worse. And I'm just like, no offense when I say this, but it's a scary portal into the future. Even if I'm not directly doing anything, it's just like, oh no, I really don't need to want to figure out about the future, but it's probably good I'm learning about it now so I can get used to it. You know,
That's right,
you know what I mean?
man. Ripcord says
So
he's got a backhoe.
oh, dude, seriously? Oh my gosh, that's like childhood in a nutshell.
Have you ever used a backhoe or anything like that?
I've driven a train.
What?
I've never, I've driven a train. I can't say when, where, or how. I happen to know people. I can't say where because I'm not
He
getting
knows
it
a
back.
guy.
I know people. I'm leaving it at that. I know people at a railroad who let me operate under supervision, and that is all I'm going to be saying out loud. But yeah, I like to say I've driven a train, flown a Cessna, but I've never done a backhoe. I'd love to do a backhoe. It's like
They're
childhood
fun.
right there, dude.
You can dig all kinds of holes.
Hey, I did actually have a hole in my parents' backyard that I dug. I thought that was like the greatest thing in the world. I think I watched one too many Nova how to escape a German prison camp. Dig a tunnel. I'll go dig a tunnel in the backyard. Okay, I did actually have plans for digging a tunnel about 3/4 of a mile to a friend's house. And the funny thing is, instead of it just being like all theoretical, I'd actually kind of started to work out like we were going to have ventilation problems, what we're going to do when we got into the street, how deep would we have to go down, lighting. So it wasn't just like a crazy idea. It was like I was actually trying to think through the logistics of it. It's just like looking back, it's like, yeah, that was a crazy idea, but wow, you were really smart to actually kind of like think ahead, you know.
I know. I think I used to be smarter than I am now. I guess feel myself dumbing down as I get older.
Nah, you still seem pretty smart, Jimmy. Just remember, the dogs and the cat need to be fed, so don't forget.
Yeah, I know. I got to remember that.
I'm just teasing. Sorry, it was too good not to do. I should warn you that me and some of the old guys in the model train group that I belong to on Facebook in private messaging, I totally roast them in good humor for being old, and they roast me for being young. So I sometimes forget not everybody's cool with that. So if I say anything, it's not intentional. It's just that's the way I am half the time. And they think it's funny, and I think it's funny, but I sometimes forget that not everybody finds it funny. It's like, crap, I shouldn't have said that.
Hey, see
So
people mentioning Vegas. Hey, is anybody planning on going to meet up with Jeff in Vegas to celebrate his 365th video?
shoot, if I had the opportunity, I'd be down.
We may have to do a road trip.
I'd totally be down for a road trip. You know me, you'd roll up to my place. I'd have like 5 Maker coins on and 10 GoPros in my hand. Be like, let's go, Jimmy.
Get in, loser. We're going to Vegas.
Okay, I did actually have to watch Mean Girls again to try and find the line. Every time that came up, I was just like doubled over, dying laughing at the line. Get in the car, we're going shopping. Get in the car, we're going to the mall. I'm like, oh boy, this is funny. I think I was beginning mental burnout, so everything was funny at that point.
King Random's asking if we live near each other. We live about 100 miles apart.
100 miles and about 2 hours apart. He's down in Salinas area. I'm up in the San Francisco area. So without traffic, it's about 2 hours. With traffic, don't even ask.
So, sounds like Curtis is in on it.
Yeah, that'd be fun. All three of us go rolling out there. Although I will say, I don't know how well I'd handle the Vegas Strip, but heck yeah, we gotta drag Tessa out to San Francisco. If I was able to show Angus in about 6 hours all the cool stuff in San Francisco, and he's all like, "Dude, I totally gotta come back here and like check this out some more," I think you'd totally geek out as well, Tessa. And there's a whole lot of cool stuff in the Bay Area that's like techie related. That'd be fun. I still need to drag you around San Francisco one of these weeks.
I know we need to hit the subway and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. One of these days when life calms down for both of us, we need to just like hang out again.
Yeah, we need to.
Maybe drag a couple more Bay Area people in, kind of like what we did before the Ultimaker event with you, me, Curtis, and Heather and Travis, how we all met up. That was just cool to not only introduce everybody, but just to like hang out as a group.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was fun. But put aside our political choices, our printing choices, and just get together and eat food like friends. Not that we hate each other or anything like that, but you know what I mean. How it's like everybody gets like into a little like thing on Twitter, and they hang out in person. It's like, wait, I thought you were fighting on Twitter. Yeah, we just do that on Twitter. It's all for show.
It is okay. You gotta wear pink.
Wait, who said what?
I said Heather would be like, you gotta wear pink.
On Wednesdays we wear pink. Thank God it's not a Wednesday stream.
We need a video of Jimmy and Calvin doing the whip and the nay-nay.
You guys are lucky that I kept part of me singing in the light video and me beatboxing in the crappy spinner video. You guys are lucky.
We'll just have C-Dub doing the dab.
Totally over my head. Which children's program was this from again that I didn't watch growing up? Oh, King Random made a hilarious comment. No, actually, I don't know what Jimmy is, but you're wrong on my thing. The only reason why I had that stuff is because that's what was cheap at Whole Foods, and that's why I grabbed it. No, I'm not a vegetarian or a vegan. I ate bacon on Dustin's live stream, so maybe say any more.
King Random says Jimmy's a Republican and Calvin's a Democrat.
I'm not saying what I am on the stream, but you know.
I'll say it. I don't mind. Actually, I am a Democrat, but I am not that kind of a Democrat. I'm fine with either party, to be honest with you. I'm not political. I just am not.
My take is who's less neurotic and who's actually going to like look out for us better. That's what I'm going for. Any more political affiliation is just something to fight over. It means swap. Personally, both sides have pretty much just gone to crap at this point. So unless one side's like, "Ooh, I'm so much better." The heck
Yeah.
with it. You know,
I'm
that's where I
I'm
leave
middle of the road, to be honest with you. That's just the way I am. You know,
same.
I don't lean all the way over one way. I don't lean all the way over the other way.
I might lean more towards the conservative side, but I'm definitely not like a total wackadoodle on it.
Yeah.
You know, I tend to lean more that direction, but I'm not definitely not like some, oh, I'm gonna go walking around with my AR-15 around my chest while wearing an American flag. I'm not that kind of a person.
I want to be. No, I'm kidding. We need to go to the range sometime.
Dude, that'd be fun.
Yeah, it
I
would.
have not shot a gun in I don't know how long.
Really?
Oh god.
I just saw that one too.
Wow, this has just gone to crap, and thank God this chat is not being saved. Yes, thank you for that really obvious observation, Tessa. I promise this is my real genuine hair, and if anybody doesn't believe it, you have my permission to touch it next time you see me as long as you ask first.
I've touched it.
It's real. Hey, multiple people have touched it and it's real.
Oh man.
We are crashing fast.
Yeah, we are. It's that time of night. We're
It's
actually we made an agreement with each other. We were going to stream for about 30 minutes tonight. We passed that by about 30 minutes.
what that translates to is if you edit out all the floofy stuff, we probably have about 15 minutes of actual like real talking about the topic and about 15 minutes of intros and crap and theoretical stuff for the next video. And then the rest of it's just us acting like complete morons, which everybody seems to enjoy. So what the heck?
Tinker Corey says Jimmy's hair is pretty too. Thank you.
Okay, Tessa, I did actually put some gel in my hair just for good measure because I didn't want to look like a total loser like first week of class, like, ooh, hi, I'm weirdo. I might save, not putting gel in for the other, other weeks when I really want to annoy everybody. But yeah, my hair is naturally this way. The stuff that I use kind of holds it down without getting rid of all the curls. You know, hair tips from C Dub. The
I
guy who
took
gets a
my
haircut
shave
like
last
once
night,
a
so I
year.
wouldn't look like a caveman tonight.
Gosh.
I kid you not. I'll take it. I'll shave and I'll forget for about 2 or 3 days. I'll look in the mirror and go, "Oh goodness, I better shave."
I keep telling myself I need to do that, and then I forget, and then I need to do that, and then I forget, and I'm like, shoot, I really just need to do it.
Man, Ripcord's taking off. Have a good night, Ripcord.
You
Looks
couldn't
like Chris
handle
is
all the
out too. Have a good
awesomeness.
night. I think we better go ahead and call it.
Yeah, we better call it before we both just like completely lose it.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for joining. Thank you very much, Calvin, for joining. I sure appreciate it.
No problem. It was a blast, even though I'm exhausted. Now, now let's see how slowly I can get to bed.
Well, guys,
Peace.
have a good night. Take care. We'll see you next week.
See ya.